Hey guys, let's talk about Diablo 4. It's not Game of the Year material, but it's got one hell of an addictive feel to it. I mean, I cannot stop playing it. And why is that? The story is not that amazing and it also has an incomplete ending. The graphics are good, but can be better. The gameplay is easy and not very challenging, and the overall game feels like it's not finished. But I still find myself playing this game for hours and hours. And why is that? It's because it has that hook that makes you want to go higher and higher levels, to climb the tiers and achieve perfection in a randomized world. Yes, I said randomize, and what I mean by that is that the game's most addictive element is that you never know what you can get. There are many foes here. Each item has different stats and abilities, and each of them can change the way you build and play your character. Yes, it requires a lot of in-game money and resources, but that's just the grind and the fun of it. There are a lot of builds, but all of them are influenced by the items you get, and the item stats are always random. I played as a rogue, and my build constantly changed every time I found a different item. I started as a close range assassin that was stabbing enemies all around me, then I went for a range build that was firing arrows like a machine gun, and later I have made a build that is similar to a sniper that shoots a nuclear attack, destroying everything in my path. It really is so satisfying. Now let's talk about the story. For me, the story wasn't that good. It does have its moments, but the cinematics is what made those good moments come to life. Except from running across the map to either kill or talk to an NPC, there's nothing else to the main story. It's bland and mediocre. It's nothing we haven't seen from previous Diablo games. The characters are the best aspect of the story, but the journey itself is not that enjoyable. Get this, go there, kill that, talk to that character, and so on. It's the same for the side quests. Now, even if the story isn't that good, if Blizzard would have included some dialogue choices and paths that you could have chosen, basically giving the player the option to interact and choose how your story would go, it would have made the game 100 times better. As an example, and this is a bit of a spoiler for the story, so be warned, okay, here we go. They could have let you choose to either join Lilith or join Mephisto just before the end. The option to choose your own path would have made the story and the game itself more interactable and more enjoyable to play. Unfortunately, there is nothing of that. So if you're thinking of getting the game for the story, I personally would not recommend it. The world bosses look nice, but as gameplay and mechanics, it's the same as all the other bosses, just scaled up. If you're thinking that they offer better loot, they don't. Now, the performance is decent, but it does have some server lags from time to time, and when it does, it can easily ruin your experience. Now, my biggest disappointment is the level scaling. Let me explain. When you level up, the monsters also level with you, and they get a huge boost in health and damage. Unfortunately, you only get Paragon points, and they don't really offer much of a boost in comparison to what the monsters get. The solution, of course, is to get better items, but the item power level is also stuck at around 800 power, and you can get this type of items as soon as you get into tier 4, basically at level 70. I am now level 91, and I'm still using items that I got when I was level 70. You would expect that higher difficulty dungeon would give you better items. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing any improvement. Even worse, I'm seeing lower level items drop from harder level dungeons. And yes, I know the stats of the items are more important than the power level, but if you can find a weapon with a desired stat, like vulnerability for example, the higher the power of the item is, the higher the stat will be. I tried PvP as well, and it does have a spark of something great, but it's not that engaging. You basically do the same content as the rest of the game, where you just farm seeds from monsters, and with those you can buy some cosmetics. The only difference is that in these areas you can attack or be attacked by other players. Unfortunately, you don't get any rewards from battling other players. Maybe in the future Blizzard can add some PvP arena with rankings or something to give you a reason to fight other players. But as of now, this is just a waste of time. Now let's talk about the open world. They nailed the vibe and the dark artistic style that the original Diablo 1 and 2 had. And I love that the world map has so many biomes, as you can go from a snowy area to a desert one, to a forest one, and even a swamp. They really put a lot of work into creating a visually beautiful world. But for such a big world, sadly, I feel it's empty. Yes, there are a lot of monsters or human characters to fight and kill, but that's all there is to it. And yes, there are a lot of events happening in the world, like world bosses and Hell Tide as examples, but all of them you do the same thing over and over again. And that is fighting and killing forgettable monsters. I would have loved if they have included some mechanics for the world, like some puzzles to unlock different dungeons, or animals to interact with, like petting them, or different type of traversing mechanics, like in the latest Zelda or Star Wars Survivor games, that was giving you creative ways to travel the world. And don't tell me that the horse is that mechanic, because it's the same as walking but slightly faster. Also, the horse path mechanic is horrible, he gets stuck in every corner. Instead of just adding different skins to the horse, they could have added different abilities to them, like one of them could have jumped over the barricades, another one could have had a skill to slow enemies around it, or giving you the choice to have a faster horse, or a horse that can carry items. Even more, they could have added horseback fighting, like in the Elden Ring. They could have also introduced your own room, where you could have displayed your favorite weapons or trophies for other players to see. They could also have added collectible artifacts or cards found throughout the world, or hunting mechanics different from the brainless killing of monsters, where you had to track the prey before catching it or killing it. They could have added so many things. Not necessarily the ones I mentioned, but any new mechanics would have made the world a bit more interesting and more lively to explore. They did not innovate at all with this game. It's the same game as the old Diablo 2, just with better graphics. The same game in over 20 years. A good example of a game design is Elden Ring. Everyone was saying that it is the same game as all the other Dark Souls before it. But I strongly disagree. The developers made the game in the image of the old ones, but made it open world and improved on every aspect of it. In Diablo 4 case, Blizzard took the idea to make it an open world, but all they did was remove the loading screens between the biomes. We already had this world in the previous Diablo games, but now we can traverse it on foot or on horseback without any loading screens. Great! So glad I don't have to wait for a loading screen. If you haven't guessed it, let me spill it out for you. The open world is an illusion. Now it takes longer to traverse the map than to wait for a loading screen. And if you use a portal, you still get the loading screen. So even the concept of the open world is just an illusion. The reality is that I'm seeing Diablo 4 as the same game as Diablo 2, just with better graphics and a fewer quality of life improvements. So, with all of this in mind, should you buy the game? In my opinion, yes. The game is fun and very addictive, but it could have been much better. This game should have been delivered 10 years ago, not now. It has enough content to justify the price. I only wish it would have been a game worthy of its time. Blizzard is a big company worth billions. We expect quality and innovative products from them, but instead we just got the basic Diablo formula with just better graphics. And even the current basic game has a huge problem, as when you get to higher levels, the health and damage of the monsters are exponentially increased, but the items mostly stay the same. The stats do increase if you get items with more power level, but the increments are so minimal that are not going to provide you with any substantial benefits, making the game an unfulfilling grind. And I'm seeing more and more players quit the game because of this. Blizzard said they will invest in this game for years to come, so it might get better with future seasons, but I think it will be too late. They need to fix it now. So that's my take on this. Let me know what is your opinion about the game in the comments, and I'm out.